There's the K5 Blazer getting ready for the Rubicon. I have not done much to it since we got back from Utah because I just really haven't had time with all the work on the Suburban, and this has been relegated to daily driver duty, which has been fine by me. So let's do a quick walkthrough. I haven't had much opportunity to put together a video highlighting some of the changes that have been happening with the truck, so I thought I'd do it right now before we head on out. These things have a nasty habit of snapping back and nailing fingers. Whack! I've lost a couple thumbnails to these guys. This is a K5 Blazer on a custom built frame that I built after I bent the original factory frame. It's 4-linked front and rear with 1 tons. It's got a Dana 60 GM Kingpin 1 ton up front, and it's got a 14-bolt full floater, corporate 14 in the rear. I'm running PSC hydro assist steering with a remote reservoir. I have a Eaton E-locker. I've got plated knuckles. It's 40-inch tires, Cooper Discover STT Pros on some Pro Comp Trilogy beadlocks. This is a GM LS LQ9 6-liter iron block engine. It's got the Turbo SS or Trailblazer SS intake on it. It's got a Summit Stage 2 truck cam. I'm running the full Holley, I'm running the full Holley standalone setup on it, from engine management to rails to injectors to coils. I just replaced my 7th leaking Griffin radiator with this $80 Amazon radiator. I just need to figure out a way to tee my vapor line into it. So right now my vapor line is capped off after I lost about 2 gallons of coolant today, not realizing how much fluid was pumping. I always assumed it was just, you know, vapor and a trickle. No, this thing is pumping coolant out it and all over my engine bay. Learned the hard way on that one. I turned the system into a return system, so I run the Holley fuel regulator and pressure gauge up here and set my pressure. I run a 43 PSI fuel system based on the Holley injectors I'm running. This is a Mechman alternator. I used to run vintage air when I still had doors and windows. And then let's talk about some of my electrical. This right here, let's see if I can pull in on that guy for you. That right there is my Hell Roaring Battery Isolator combiner. This is a solid state isolator combiner that allows me to isolate my backup battery to pure starting only. So it is fully being charged and conditioned while the truck is running. So the Mechman keeps it charged, but it does not have any draw on it until I flip a switch in the cab, and I can use it for extra power when, you know, winching without ignition, or if I kill my battery. We're now looking at the Racer Force 12 from Switch Pros. This is the heart and soul of my electrical accessory system. Through this, I run my, lockers, I run my transmission fan, I run my fans for my cooling system, I run my turn signals, I run all my lighting. I run so much through this. It's a solid state MOSFET semiconductor system that essentially it's load sensing, so if there's any sort of ground or short, it will immediately shut off before any damage, and it'll self reset. And everything runs through here. It has one main power, and then all the accessory wires come off and go to their respective places. You can program the console inside as you see fit, and it's fantastic. What else do we have? I'm running the no mass airflow. I'm running a speed density on this because the Holley system is speed density. The difference being the mass airflow is reading air as it comes in through the intake and comparing that to the air leaving through the exhaust, the readings off the O2 sensor. A speed density system, cliff notes here, it reads the pressure inside the manifold called the manifold absolute pressure, which changes, the vacuum changes based on throttle position and engine vacuum needs. And so you get your speed density rating by reading the the manifold absolute pressure and comparing that to the O2 sensor readings. Two different ways of doing the same thing. I do like the speed density because the speed density gives me the option to get rid of a mass airflow, which can often be problematic in LS swaps or anything where the original intake is difficult to use. This is the Holley Pro dash. I've got several screens set up for it. This is my primary, that's my data intensive screen, and this is the general screen that I use pretty much every day. Got a PRP detachable steering wheel, my shifter assemblies, and that is the Switch Pros console. I love this thing. So I've got my transcooler on there, my rear lights, my front lights, bumper lights, roof lights, engine fans, lockers, you name it. If you've made it this far into the video, why don't you give me a subscribe? Button's right down there. And I view the number of subscribers as a direct measure of my self-worth. So, you're doing two good things. Give me a subscribe and help me feel good about myself. Let's get you a better shot so I can explain my shifters here. So moving from, let's go from left to right. This one right here is my transmission. That controls the 4L65E. Moving to that guy, that is control of my front drive shaft, putting it in four-wheel drive low or high or neutral. A rear drive shaft, I have the ability to put my rear drive shaft in low, neutral, or high. And then I have my Magnum box controller right here. This controls the Magnum box in front of the 205. That reduces the ratios of the 205, giving me the incredibly low ratios. It's a DIY 4x custom dash and a custom roll cage. Got a little bit of bling in here. And then moving into the back, I'm using obviously my seat brackets that I sell. Let's see if I can get a good shot of those. There they are. So those seat brackets right there, I leave in now because I built a little bracket to hold the pack outs, which always go with me when we go off-road. So this seat will come out tomorrow for the ARB fridge to go in its place. Moving towards the back, we've got more views of the cage, my power tank air setup, and then the bumper I built. Keep in mind that the frame is custom built from the rear back and it is wider than factory. So before you ask, this bumper will not fit on your truck. It's about 4 inches too wide. Center section, I mean. So when I built the rear frame, I took the opportunity to just go all out. Building the 4-link brackets into it and plating this frame. So this is 2x6 or 2x5 square tube, 120 wall, and I plated it with 1/4-inch plate on the outside, which is that weld that you see right behind the coilover right there. This is the Jazz 22-gallon fuel cell and the custom cradle I built and bashed with a hammer to get that nice roll. And then my fuel access is through this hatch in the floor, and I repurposed a tire gator to carry my spare and still allow use of the rear while giving me clearance and being a lot better fixated than just the hinge swing out guys. Not that there's anything wrong with those, they just don't work for me. It's the 14 bolt with the DIY 4x diff cover and Arctec truss. It's being converted to disc, obviously. That has the Detroit locker in it. And then we got the KC for my backup lights, along with turn signals. The Bilstein coilovers held in place by some wheel every weekend coilover brackets. Removable brace between the two shock hoops in the rear. And also this tire gator can be removed too. I just never have since I put it in. I'm missing some tubes from when I rolled it. I haven't replaced those yet, but they are minor in the whole structure here. These tires have performed very, very well for me. They probably got 12,000 miles on them. A couple trips to the Rubicon, down to the Hammers, to Utah. They're looking great. Very happy with them. Mounted and balanced myself with airsoft pellets. No vibrations. And Bilstein coilovers with my Jazz fuel cell. 22-gallon fuel cell with a Holley dual pump fuel sending unit. I'm running the Magnum 205 transfer case combination reduction box. Let me try and get a good shot of that for you guys. That's up there, right there. That gives me 4 gears, 4 different speeds off-road, and some significant crawl ratios. I hope you guys found this entertaining. It was a quick one. Sorry for not getting the video out this week until late. I'll be gone next week, so no video next week. But until then, check out some of my other videos. There's going to be links all around here for you to click and enjoy. And also, give me a subscribe, give me a like. Let me know what you're thinking. And we'll see you soon. Merricks Garage.